You can stop guessing, and now they can start counting the real votes. Voters get to have their say officially today. We are in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This is the biggest swing county and the biggest swing state with its 19 electoral votes. Biden won this county and won Pennsylvania 4 years ago. This time around, nearly 2 million mail-in ballots have been received across the Commonwealth. They still have time to hand those mail ballots in by 8 p.m. tonight. Here in Bucks County, more than 120,000 mail ballots have been handed in. And the mail-in ballot here in Pennsylvania, the counting of them is a huge thing, especially in Philadelphia. With the rules in Pennsylvania, it can slow things down. The district attorney in Philadelphia offered a very clear warning to anyone looking to intervene, interfere, or get in the way this election day.
Anybody who thinks it's time to play militia, F around and find out. Anybody who thinks it's time to insult, to deride, to mistreat, to threaten people, F around and find out. We do have the cuffs, we do have the jail cells, we do have the Philly juries, and we have the state prisons. If you're going to try to bully people, bully votes or voters, you're going to try to erase votes, you're going to try any of that nonsense, we're not playing. F around and find out.
Polls are open across the Commonwealth. Right now, they open at 7 a.m. They close at 8 p.m. this evening. Here in Bucks County at Bensalem High School, we saw people lining up more than an hour before the doors opened here to make sure they were first in line. Over to Sarah now in Battleground, Wisconsin. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, just seconds ago, a big announcement was made here in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. The 2024 polls for the election are now open. And the very first absentee ballot can now be counted. We are off to the races in what polls have predicted may be a razor-thin victory for either candidate in this state. Wisconsin is one of those so-called blue wall states. The big question this morning is, will the blue wall stand for Harris or crumble for Trump this election? The way Wisconsin counts its vote and the shift from Trump to Biden in 2020 after nearby Milwaukee was counted led Trump and his allies to begin unfounded questioning of the fairness of the election. Cedarburg, by the way, which is a picture-perfect town with an extremely high voter turnout to the tune of 90%, this city has voted Republican for every single presidential election since 1936 until 2020, when it broke blue for Joe Biden. With its 12,000 plus voters, Biden won by just 19 votes then. And it foreshadowed what happened in the entire state of Wisconsin, which went to Biden by 20,000 plus votes. The weather, by the way, not picture perfect, though the town is. It is raining here. But there are already 50 people who were outside in line long before the doors even opened, and now they are all coming in. You can hear the excitement, and you can see all the folks behind me and the poll workers. They're doing their job. The first vote was cast just 2 minutes ago. Kate?
I will take it, Sarah. Thank you very much. As you can see, the polls open behind Sarah in Wisconsin. They're open in Georgia and North Carolina as well, and they will be two of the key swing states where the polls close the earliest at 7 and 7:30. Miguel Marquez in Wilmington, North Carolina. Nick Valencia is in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Miguel, let's first go to you. What are you seeing this morning?
Long lines. Look, I want to show you what's happening outside the Moose Lodge here in Wilmington. People who have been voting in Wilmington all their lives say they have never seen lines as long at this precinct. This is short. This is about 30, 40 people in line right now. They've had at least 75 or 100 since the polls opened at 6:30 this morning. We've spoken to tons of voters. Why are we here? It's a purple county in a purple state. Both campaigns have been working very, very hard here. We spoke to voters sort of on both sides. All of them say at the end of the day, they just hope the country is a little closer to normal.
I hope it's a Harris Waltz runaway. I have several friends that are Trumpers. No problem with that. They vote who they want to vote. My main concern is that when you see me broke down, stop and pick me up. I don't care who you voted for. I want to be a community again.
I feel there's a lot of hatred out there, and I would like to see less of that. You know, less violence, all that stuff. It'd be nice if people would learn to, like, speak their mind, but also respect other people's opinions.
So keep in mind, most voters in New Hanover County, where we are, and across the state have already voted early, but the lines are still very long. The campaigns are also out here. We have a Democratic tent. There's a Republican tent out here. There are workers who are handing out sample ballots to voters as they are in line. It looks like it's going to be nonstop. Polls close here at 7:30 p.m., and it looks like they're going to have a line like this, if not longer, throughout the entire day. It gives you an idea of just how motivated people are on both sides. Back to you guys.
All right, Miguel Marquez in Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's get to Nick Valencia in Lawrenceville, Georgia. What are you seeing there, Nick?
Hey, good morning, John. There was also a line out the door this morning of about 25 people starting at 7 this morning. Most of them, though, confused that they couldn't vote in person here. This is the county registrar's office. It was an option to vote early in person here, not an option on Election Day. I want to give you a tour here of this office. It's mainly an operations center and an administrative center come Election Day. And those voters who were turned away, they were helped out by volunteers like those that I'm going to show you here, given those information for their precincts. There's 156 precincts all throughout Gwinnett County. It is a consequential county for both the Republican candidate and the Democratic candidate in this race. Georgia has become a battleground for 2 decades. Republicans dominated this until 2020, when Joe Biden became the first Democratic presidential nominee to win it since 1992. It's going to be a busy day here, a lot busier as the day goes on. This is where the tabulation is going to happen here, just in that glass bowl area beyond. And this is the man that's going to be at the center of it all, Zach Manifold. You're the election supervisor. Thank you so much for taking the time with CNN. How are things looking out there?
It's been a pretty quiet morning, so we always like to see that. It's been pretty smooth so far, so feeling pretty good.
Tabulation starts at 9 a.m. Walk us through what's going to happen and when we will start seeing those official batch of numbers coming out of Gwinnett County.
Yeah, so we have a team that's sequestered starting at 9 a.m. And they'll start closing out all those scanners from the advanced voting locations.
And that happens right back here, right, through those doors?
Yep. Our preps are in the back. About 300,000 people voted on those scanners from advanced voting. So they'll start closing those out, and they'll run the tabulation tapes, and then they'll start feeding in the memory cards from those, and that'll be a process that's going on basically all day until we can finally publish results after 7 o'clock.
And just quickly, you guys shattered records for advanced in-person voting. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think it's the voters moving back to the traditional voting pattern here in Gwinnett. People really love in-person voting and advanced voting, and I think we did a good job of making sure that, hey, people, get out there, vote before there's any lines, and we had very little lines for those 300,000 voters. Well,
we know you're going to be busy today. Thank you so much again for taking the time with CNN. Gwinnett County, one of those counties in the battleground state of Georgia that's in the center of it all. John?
Yeah, it's a county the Democrats need to win big if they want to win in that state. All right, Nick Valencia and Miguel Marquez, thanks to both of you. Kate.
Battleground, Pennsylvania, and the battleground county of Bucks County. We're outside Bensalem High School. There are 3 precincts that actually vote here, so there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of action. We even have someone DJing the polls because it is that cool here. Joining me right now is one cool cat himself, former Republican congressman from Pennsylvania, Charlie Dent, someone who knows Bucks County and the area oh so well. What are you feeling and thinking about as everyone's heading in here today?
Well, I'm looking at this county, Bucks County, which is one of the collar counties of Philadelphia, of the 4 collar counties. It's the most competitive county. Joe Biden won it by 4 or 5 points in 2020. And so we're all kind of watching what's going to happen. I suspect that Kamala Harris will win this county because there are a lot of soft Republicans, even though the registration is slightly more Republican.
Because that's been a trend since 20. There has been an increase in Republican registration, right?
Party out of power oftentimes does pick up registrations. But you got to remember, this county is one where we've always had in the suburban Philadelphia what I would call soft Republicans. These are people who were registered Republican, but were often functionally Democrats in presidential elections. And the opposite was true in the southwestern part of the state. We got a lot of registered Democrats who were functional Republicans, and now more people have aligned their voter registration with their voting habits. That's changed over the years, but that's where we are today. But this county, watch it, because this will be the most competitive county. Kamala Harris needs to run up the score here in Bucks County.
It's not just winning; it's running up the margin, right?
Correct. Everywhere. And if you remember what happened in 2020 in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump only really did better in one county in 2020 than he did in 2016, and that was Philadelphia, of all things. Everywhere else he did marginally worse. But this is where Kamala Harris has to win big in these collar counties. That was a difference for Joe Biden in 2020.